There we go.
Great.
All right, Shelley, thank you. Really appreciate you being on and being our Power 30 guest today. So let's dive right in. And we have a lot of people that are new to Synergy,
Nice.
maybe even a few people who are visiting our call today. So tell us just really quickly a little bit about you and your
Sure.
partnership with Craig and what you guys are all about.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me today. It's a pleasure to be here. Firstly, I'm Shelley Johnson. My business partner, Craig LePage, and I own a team called LePage Johnson Realty Group in Charlotte, North Carolina. And we were originally with Keller Williams. Started in Keller Williams and gosh, I was there for 8 years, I want to say 7, 8 years. And my business partner, Craig, was there for about 9. So collectively about 16, 17 years. And we had a team and we were growing. And as every team grows, we hit our ceilings and we're trying to push through those different ceilings in real estate, which depending on the market, depending on conditions, can be challenging. And it can be just like, how do you get through that next level without being pulled up by someone else who knows a little bit more than we know? So we were constantly hitting those ceilings. We were doing very well. We were stuck at 20 million for a long time and we hit 42 million when our last year at KW. And since we've joined EXP, it'll be 4 years in July, we've tripled our business. So we're around 123 million in production this past year. Sell a lot of homes, love real estate, love the industry. And that's not the brag. That's just telling you that in this company, you can really thrive in your real estate business by surrounding yourself with people who actually do more than you. So that was the main reason that we felt like we had the success we've had. Is one, taking the money we were getting through revenue share, which is what my main focus is going to be to talk to you all about today. Is I want you guys to get a little comfortable being uncomfortable. So I'm going to ask you to step out of your comfort zone and improve your life, make your life better. And I'm going to help you do that. I'm going to give you some tools and some action items to take away today that will help you feel more comfortable with having those conversations and getting to those wins. And that you guys are great realtors. Now let's be great agent attractors. I will help you with your real estate business anytime, but right now I've got 30 minutes to talk to you about agent attraction. So that's what I'm doing.
It's interesting, Shelley, because I've talked with Craig a little bit about how much you guys have improved from a production side. And yeah, we're going to focus on the revenue share here in a minute. But when I've asked him, like, what's the difference really? He's said, like what you just said, just being around people who kind of mentally elevated our game was the biggest element to that. So that's really a cool thing for me to hear, because I think that's what Synergy brings to the table for our agents, is that we can all be around winners,
Yeah.
And people who genuinely want to see us succeed also. So that's great to hear that that's what you guys feel like was your difference maker.
It really is, because we only could grow as far as we actually know is available. So we only could grow to the highest point until we see there's something more. So there's those, we have to be able to see it to believe it sometimes.
Yeah. Okay. So tell us quickly about your, kind of what you saw in EXP and why you thought this was going to be such a great offering for your team members also.
So we were really weren't looking for another firm at all. I was not interested in another firm. I was actually pretty closed off to thinking about another firm. And my business partner, Craig, looked at the model and he was like, you need to look at this. And I was like, okay, I'll look at it. But I kind of went into it half-heartedly, which I think that keep in mind, like we have to remember where we were when we were looking at the company and different people's timing of where they are mentally with looking at the company. I'm only bringing that up because sometimes we don't get the answer we want right out of the gate, right? So if Craig had said to me, Shelley, if he hadn't been like excited about it and been like, Shelley, you need to look at this, I might have been less inclined to make the effort to actually look at it. And literally he had me look at it and it was really interesting. It almost sounded too good to be true. And I thought, well, how could this possibly be that they're going to be able to do all this for us as agents? Well, it was interesting because then once I saw it, I was like, wow, this is exactly what we've been dreaming of for our team, but on steroids and in a way that is a real system and a plan that I don't have to go out and try to figure out as an independent brokerage, which was the direction we were going.
Yeah, cool. Awesome. So tell us a little bit about your revshare group and what it looks like and what it's meant for you.
It's incredible. So when Craig and I joined the company, it was 2,300 agents. I believe last week we're at 50,000, which is insane. But here's the thing, the company has really just gotten started. When Craig and I joined, as Cody can attest to as well, since he was kind of an early person in, is that this company had a lot of road like bumps in the road that needed to be smoothed out and figured out, and they've done a fantastic job of putting the right people in place to do that, which has been amazing. And I didn't really understand what revenue share would mean for my family or my team. I knew that it sounded good, it seemed like a good avenue for us. But what's happened is we attracted 33 level ones. So that's not like incredibly crazy. I don't spend my days calling agents and pestering them. I've got 33 agents that, I had relationships with that I've introduced the company to. And they eventually, maybe 3 years later, which my most recent one was 3 years later, said yes, and have joined the company with us. And through that, their great leadership skills we've all worked together and built a massive organization together. And that's turned into 2,500 agents. So that's kind of crazy. Um, when you think about that, we were a little old LePage Johnson and Lake Norman doing about 40 million. We did some good production, but we weren't like, I mean, I just thought we were pretty average. So that's pretty amazing that happened, with our group. And it's through it's people follow people. And, when you have good people in your group, like Cody and Denise Klein and Lacey, and I know there's others of you, I just don't know all of you, that we all kind of rise up together. As Brent Gove always says, all rising tides lifts all ships. And that's huge. I mean, that's an important thing that this company, I see time and time again, that is so true in this company.
Yeah, and from what I understand, it's not like this thing has sort of plateaued or tapered
Yeah.
off there at this 2,500 people range. It's a momentum now that's growing that you don't. I mean, you can't stop it even if you want. I mean, you don't want to, but even if you wanted to, you couldn't.
Yeah, it's true. So as you grow, as your group hits different levels, you'll start to see that it gets kind of a growth, synergistic growth of its own. And you won't know everybody in your group as much as you want to know every single person because they all matter. You won't know every single person, but it's because this person knows that person, knows that person. And because we are selling a lot of real estate, I mean, the company, if you look at our real trends reports, killing it. I mean, we're doing amazing in the real estate sales. So no company can say that we're not a real estate company selling real estate, because that's what we do every single day. We do it really well at a high level with some top performers. So I love that.
So let's jump into the concept that you mentioned in the beginning about maybe getting out of your comfort zone a little bit. I think that we have something really cool going on here with Synergy, and it's growing, which is awesome. But I think some people maybe aren't sharing it as much as they otherwise would. Maybe it's the lack of knowledge of how to share it, or maybe it is fear. What are your thoughts on that for us?
My thought on that is, sometimes think about your first listing or your first buyer. Was it really comfortable? It probably wasn't, but you really had no choice. So we have this crutch called real estate that we fall back to because we're really comfortable selling real estate. Well, think about it as like another income stream for your family that is going to change your financial future. A lot of us look at next year. Well, this year I'm going to hit this amount of volume and boom, we're going to do it. But we don't look at 5 years and 10 years out. And that's really what my big, we looked at the company a couple of years ago. That was really my big reason for joining was, what was 5 years, 10 years going to look like for me? Was I going to have to sell 20 more homes to hire that next leverage point in my business to get more, what we call time freedom? This business is an amazing business, but one thing we don't have is time freedom. We may have financial freedom in real estate, if we work really hard, but we probably are, it's going to be very difficult to get time freedom. And when Glenn Sanford discovered this or created this company, he was able to create a platform where with this passive income through revenue share and through stock, we were able to get some of our time back. And I will tell you, that's been the biggest game changer for me, because I'm a better leader for my team. I have more time to focus on the things that matter in my business. And I get to pick and choose what I like to do. So sometimes, you know how we have things we don't want to do in the business. Now I get to pick and choose not to do those things if I don't want to. The danger of our industry, and probably most any industry, is getting comfortable. As soon as we get comfortable, we quit growing. And when we quit growing, we quit looking for ways to improve our life. So when I say that, it's not super uncomfortable. I mean, we do know these realtors. I've never had a realtor hang up on me. I've never had one like be really rude, like a for sale by owner, like AJ talks about in some of his videos. It's so true. They want, people are just don't, they want to, they don't want to, they don't want to get uncomfortable. So you have to remember when you pick that phone up and you call your friend who you've done a couple transactions with, you're like, hey, you know, um let's, you know, Sherry, she's on here. So Sherry, hey Sherry, you know, would you consider looking at this company? I made this move. I'm really excited about it. I know you and your family have been at Keller Williams for 15 years or 10 years or however long it's been. Love to introduce you to some of my partners in this group, whether it's Cody or anybody on this call, including myself. I'd love to introduce you to them, show you a little bit about what we're like. And it's just a conversation. They could go, you know what, Sherry, I already know all about EXP. And I just kind of pause. And I'm a fast talker, if you haven't figured out. Like, I talk really quick because I have like ADHD bad. So I pause and I go, I don't, because I want to be able to like take in what they said. And I don't want to answer to like have that rebuttal like right on the heels, like I was expecting it. So I basically pause and I go, interesting. I said, you know, you're a really smart person. I really would love for you to understand what it could mean for you and your family. Would you just give me the honor of having a call with you? And you know, just with a private call with Cody, and say it's Lacey, you know, would you mind just having a call with the three of us or myself or whoever? And sometimes they'll say, you know, they're I said, they're like-minded, they're like you. They've been in similar spot as you in your business. And I kind of help them through it naturally, of course, not through some scripted, canned feeling. And then sometimes they'll say yes, and sometimes say, you know, Shelley, I'm just not interested. No worries, no problem at all. And I start talking about their kids and life and I move on. But then those people become yeses later.
Yeah. Yeah. Very good. So it's interesting because I one night had set some time aside to make some calls to some agents, and I was feeling reluctant to do it, which was the first time I'd ever felt that in my life. I don't know if it was fear or I was afraid I was bothering them. I don't know, but I called 4 agents and set 4 appointments. So that was kind of like my lesson for the day of, you know, you just got to call. Nobody was upset with me for wanting to share with them something that I thought was really good for me.
Yeah.
So I want to go back to something you said. Every time I talk with you, I pick up some little mental tidbit that just stays with me. And you talked about time freedom versus financial freedom there. That's a concept I had not really thought about like that before. Is time freedom kind of your motivator for revenue share and building a revenue share group?
It totally is. I love working. Like, if I'm a little bit of a workaholic, but I like to know that I'm working on my schedule and not someone else's schedule. And so time freedom is absolutely, and my family is super important to me. And I want to be able to do things with them that I wasn't able to do before. So it absolutely is one of my, if you had to ask me my big why, it may sound like a big, weird, big why, but time freedom, it gives me the time to be who I want to be, you know,
Yeah.
and not have to be tied into, like, I remember getting up at dinners with my husband or my mom and being like, I got this important phone call, like I'm some big shot or something. Like, who cares? Like, you got a listing in a house to sell, but it can wait an hour till we finish dinner. But I was doing that. I mean, I was so guilty of, you know, my brain would pop to that deal, you know, like, oh, I got to do this. And I had to handle it right that minute. Um, it's like, you know, but now I don't think that way. Sometimes, like the other day, my phone, I didn't even have it with me. Even over like evening all the way into the next morning, I was like 10 o'clock before I picked up, which is really weird for me. So, because that's what directs me away from the people that matter. And I had family in town, and I was like, you know what? I knew where it was. I knew it was in this bag. I'm like, I'm not going to go get the bag, because if I go get the bag, I'm going to get the phone. I get the phone, I'm going to be distracted. so, so I just didn't do it. I'm like, it's Easter. I don't need to be distracted. So,
Yeah,
um,
so that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. I'm when we hang up, I'm going to be thinking about time freedom a little bit differently, because I got to figure out how to do that for myself. I'm definitely not experiencing time freedom in the moment for sure.
right. Well,
Um,
that's what this company gives us, because it's a choice. It becomes more of a choice.
yeah, yeah, excellent. So let's go back to what you were describing to us as the kind of the skills of how to share this with people. And thank you for sharing with us that concept of just pausing. I do think that sometimes there's like this, almost like this reaction where we know that we might get that objection, and we're like, we got the knife sharpened and we're ready for it.
Yeah.
And that can definitely be a little bit overbearing on people. Do you guys mostly use the third party, what we call the third party validator calls? Is that your most common? And how do you tell us a little bit about why you use that? And I know you don't use the same third party validator all the time, do you?
No. Yeah, that's a great question, because of the people that have called me up frustrated with agent attraction have tried to do it on their own. The ones that are like going, I'm just not getting the result that I really expected from this, are the ones that are trying to do it without that third party validation. Um, there's a way that I go through. I'm happy to do this with you guys. I could do a mock-up third party call, what it looks like, because I think I do it a little different than some folks may do it. And it's been very effective. So I'm happy to do that in maybe another call, if you're open to that. But yes, third party. When I'm thinking about who I'm on the phone with, I'm immediately thinking of, am I with, if you guys are familiar with DISC, I'm thinking about if I'm with a high C, someone who's very detailed and needs all the facts, I know exactly who I'm putting on the phone with before I get on the phone with them. So like if we, before I call them and make that appointment, say, hey, I've one of the guys in our company, say it's a high profile agent who is a high DC. That person, I'm going to put him on the phone with Cliff Freeman. He is a spreadsheets. And the other thing is, you need sometimes people with numbers to kind of be able to validate what's available to them. So if someone has when you make $100,000 a month, or 90,000 a month, or even 50 or 20 or whatever that number is, that person's making more money than that person's probably making in a year, in a month, in revenue share. They go, wow, if I could make 10% of that, that'd be 10,000 a month. So it kind of validates what we're doing as a group. So by not having those numbers to show, sometimes when I'm going through my call, if it's the right person, I'll say, I'm going to share this with you, and I don't share this with everyone. And that's the truth, because some people can't handle the amount of income we make monthly. But when I share it with them, it's not a bragging thing. It's just, I want them to see it's real. Like, this money gets direct deposited in our account every month. This is the amount of stock we've gotten over the past 3.5 years. And when I left KW, I had a big goose egg. I had zero stock. My profit share was a couple $100 a month. It was real nominal. So now I have something that is actually life-changing, that will definitely be a big deal for my future, and it's willable.
Yeah,
So
it's interesting. You were talking about finding somebody who kind of matches the personality of the person you're talking with. I remember when Bill Price was trying to recruit me to EXP, he was having me talk with all these people, and one of them was Brent Gove. Now that I know Brent Gove, I know that guy is like almost a god in the EXP world, right?
yeah,
But when I was talking to him, I didn't know Brent, and he was totally a nobody to me, and it didn't register. Like, it just didn't register at all.
makes total
But then
sense.
I got this call from this guy named Craig LePage, and he wasn't fast talking. He was just cut and dry down to the numbers, and I was like feeling all warm inside. And
You're
really,
like, I love this guy. This guy speaks my language.
it was really a great way for me to understand. And he told me the negative things too, which
Yeah,
I needed to hear. I knew they were there. I wanted to know what they were. I was okay with that fact.
right.
I didn't want to be surprised later. And so he just spoke my language. So somebody who doesn't know what the third party validator call is, can you just give us like a quick briefing on what is that and what is your objective, as if I'm trying to recruit
Sure.
somebody, what would be my objective of having you? Because I can explain the model. Why would I have you explain it to somebody I'm trying to recruit?
Sure. So one thing I will share with you that I learned from Gene Frederick, who, if you all have not known him or met him yet, he's an amazing man. Um, he says, when you do a third party call, basically you're asking someone you respect to get on the call with an agent who you're bringing or have asking to take a look at the company, and we do it by Zoom. So, and we tell them it's going to be quick. It's probably going to be an hour, but we tell them it's going to be quick because if they want off, they can get off the call. I mean, we're not going to hold them to the call. So people like to know things are quick and they're not going to be stuck, but they're interested. They're going to be asking questions, or it's going to go on an hour. It's going to feel like 5 minutes. So, with the third party call, what Gene says to do is, when you introduce that person, say it's Cody and myself, and I'm going to pick Beverly. So Cody, myself, and Beverly are on a call, and Beverly is the agent I don't know. I'm the person that Cody's validating to talk to Beverly. So Cody says, "Oh my gosh, Beverly, if you met Shelley Johnson, she's just a really great girl." I'm going to really build myself up here. She's a great gal. She has a great team out of North Carolina, blah, 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 whatever he thinks is great about me. He's going to validate, because he has to give Beverly a reason to want to talk to me. So anyways, so now we're on the call, and Cody goes, Shelley, I would love to, Beverly, this is Shelley Johnson. We talked briefly about her. She has a $123 million team. Her and her business partner, blah, 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 whatever it is, for 15 seconds. This is not a minute long validation of how wonderful Shelley Johnson is. And then he says, Shelley, I really was excited to introduce you to Sherry Barker, because she is just Beverly. Beverly, I wanted to really introduce you to Beverly because she's phenomenal. She has a great real estate business. She thinks a lot like we do and how she runs her business. And I wanted her to meet one of my partners in EXP so she can understand how we work together. And he talks about Beverly for 30 to 45 seconds. So 3 times as long as he talks about me. And then Cody is just quiet. So the person who invited is quiet, because there's a reason why they have the person that they asked on the call come on. So then what happens is, what I do is I will say, Beverly, tell me a little bit about yourself. Firstly, I just want to know who you are. I mean, Cody shared some great things about you, but I want to know, trying to discover who she is as a person. Does she have kids? Does she have grandchildren? What's her reason for getting up every morning? I want to know what that is. And then I want to know about her business, and get her to start sharing with me about who she is. So a good third party validator will know that and will help that person start to get comfortable and understand who they are. Then I take them through the process. I'll be like, did you watch the webinar that Cody sent you prior to our call? And she'll say, well, no, I didn't get to watch it. And I'm like, oh, darn, because it really helps if they watch the video, the Brent Gove, the modelexplain.com prior to our call. What I like Cody to do is the night before say, Beverly, I'm so excited for you to meet Shelley tomorrow. If you could just take 30 minutes and watch the modelexplain.com before our call, it would be so helpful, because Shelley will be able to be more specific on your questions. So that's what I like to have happen the day before. I don't ask him to do that the day we set the appointment, because we're trying to get her to say, yeah, Beverly, to come to the appointment. So first is get the appointment. So Beverly says, yes, I'll come to the Zoom. And then a day or two before our call, if you wouldn't mind just taking a look at this video before we meet with Shelley, I'd just love for you to have a good understanding, and it'll save us some time while we're talking with Shelley and hit your points that are important to you. So let's pretend that Beverly didn't watch it. So that means I kind of have to go through what EXP is, ask her what she does and doesn't understand about EXP and what maybe her concerns are. And then if she did watch it, I'll say, well, what was most exciting to you about it? On a scale of 1 to 10, where are you in your thought process of, interest in EXP? And she might say, I'm a 5. If she's a 5, I'm not going to get her to a 10 today. She might go to a 7 or an 8, but it's going to be a longer process. So I'm just constantly, that's why these third parties are so important, because Cody has too close to Beverly, and he doesn't have, I can ask those questions a little bit more comfortably than Cody could, because they're too close. They know each other. I don't know Beverly. So it's just that's why third party validation works. It works really well.
Yeah. So for our Synergy members, you have the Brent Go video, and then we also have our weekly lunch and learn where basically my purpose in that lunch and learn is just to explain the model, explain it really systematically. We kind of help all different personality types see it from different angles in that lunch and learn. And then you can follow it up with one of these third-party validator calls to get feedback on what they did and didn't understand from the lunch and learn, and then answer any other questions that they may have. So I think that's an interesting thing you brought up there, Shelley, where do you ever use the third-party validator call as kind of the first thing, or do you always try to have them see Brent's video or have attended some type of a lunch and learn prior to it?
I try to get on to watch Brent's. I've tried other ways and it just don't work as well. If they can just watch Brent's video, because I will tell you, if you look at the disc personality, your high Ds are only going to be a small percentage of the people you're going to talk to. And the majority of the agents you're going to talk to are going to be an I personality. So his personality really aligns with a lot of people, and he's super concise in that video. So he does kind of tone it down and get the facts out there in that video. So I feel like that works really well. Like today I did a Zoom call with somebody who watched the modelexplained.com first, and they literally told me what it said. Like literally the girl was like, yep, I know about this. I know about this. I know about this. I know about this. Well, guess what her objection was? Her objection was she was afraid to tell her broker. So I didn't have to spend all that time. I didn't have to spend all that time, because what they'll do is they'll watch them all explain. Then they'll go on YouTube and they'll start searching all these other people besides us, like people looking for the bad, looking for the good, looking for what's really out there. And so they'll use Google. And then they're going to be pretty educated by the time they get to me. And then we're going to get to deal with what the real objections are. Hers really was, how am I going to tell my broker I'm making a move? Because in her mind, she was 80% there. I need to make this move for my family. It was just a matter of uncovering, that it's normal to feel that way. And that it's more important to make the move for her family. And then also it gave me the chance to handle the fact that she was, that they will probably tell her things that aren't true about EXP. So it gave me more time with her and on the important parts.
Yeah, that's great, because then you can focus on exactly what that person needs. All
Yeah.
right, so we just have 1 minute left here.
Oh, I want to show you guys something.
Okay.
Can I share screen real quick?
Yes, I think Lacey has to make it so you can.
I can't. I got
Okay.
it. I'm good. Okay. So I pulled this up. I wanted to share this with all of you. AJ Maida, who's in our up team, or up, whatever you want to call us, he created this agent academy, and all it really is the Brent Gove, website, brentgove.com, organized. So I've been doing this with a group, and we're on so as a group, we watch every Thursday for an hour, one of these. Like the first day we watched like 5 of these together because they were, quick. They're like 1 minute, 18 minutes. Then we watched Create Your Wealth Chart, Setting Real Expectations. And so we've been watching, and then afterwards we have a discussion after it. But if you guys go in there, it's free. And I can put it in the link down here. I saved it so I can make it easy for you guys. Copy. Hold on a second. But anyways, it's a really nice way to go through the Brent Gove and learn how to really agent attract. And if you watch all of these, by the time you're done, you're going to really have a good understanding of how to do agent attraction. So I just wanted to share that with all of you because I didn't even know it existed. One of the people in my group shared it to me, and I was like, this is really good. So now every Thursday we're doing this, and it's been super helpful.
So are you doing that with impact? Is that what you mean?
Well, I want to. So one of my big goals, I feel like I need more time, but one of my big goals is we have a CRM grow, and I want to start cascading information to our whole organization. So I'm working on that. Let me put that in here. Beverly wants that. Just because I talked about her so much. But it's a great tool, and it's a great resource, and it's a way to kind of get yourself systematically to go through something. So even if you didn't do it as a group, when I put this together, I have made a commitment to do that, and I will let everybody know. But we can watch it as a group and then have a group discussion, a Zoom call around it, because I think when you can hear someone else's perspective, like what you're doing, Cody, with the Synergy group and doing these calls is so powerful, because there's so many great people out there have so many great minds of how to do things. And we just kind of take pieces of all of it. And I didn't create any of it. I'm using someone else's tools instead of creating my own, which is great. Someone else did it better than I did it. You can do it.
All right. I feel like we're just getting to the good stuff, Shelley, but we gotta wrap this up. Thank you so much for giving us your time. I know you are so busy, and so to get 30 minutes out of you, we really, really appreciate it. And maybe we can get some third-party validator calls set up with you and let you do your thing, so we can witness that firsthand with some agents.
Well, that would be fun. I'd love to do it. Anyone needs help, I'm always here. I'll put my phone number in the chat so you have it if anyone needs it. You guys are awesome. I appreciate all of you. And I'm working to do better to serve more people. It's a learning process for me too. Remember, I had a group of 10 3 years ago.
Yeah, it's been a little bit of growth there, huh?
So I'm learning as I go.
Well, thanks again, Shelley. We really appreciate you.
Thanks. All right. Have a great day, guys. Thanks so much. Bye for now.
Take care.